As he walked past the city's castle, he interrupted his return and climbed the stone ramp that led to the top of the wall. From there, he could see Africa in the distance. Someone had once told him that it was from there the Moors had come to occupy all of Spain.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy. 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 Crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy.
What you looking up for, God? I'm talking to you. Weed smelling like dead bodies, loving a shoot. Baby goats popping out for government checks. To the honorable moms, no disrespect. I'm not talking about the matriarch, but what the deadbeat dad, fake comrade, two-faced nigga. Stab you in your back multiple times. Homicides and manslaughter, a friendship on the rise. Watch the gods with pseudo doctrines, fake shades. I stay back and listen to old school stay sane. Around the gardens, always have a bag of crystals in demons' faces, amethyst missiles. Dirty Moors teach the factors will make you official when study is beneficial.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy. Crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy. Crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy. Crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy.
Enslaved by your own, didn't listen to prophet. Now you're living in sin, one tube, I can't stop it. You made your bed, lay down, now you sleep standing. Notwithstanding in a dead status, birthright's abandoned. Rather stay dirty instead of turning your card in. Then take your fares off if you're not turning your card in.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy.
The rhyme making no sense to make dollars and holler. On our grounds, rounds leave Moors dead in parlors. So-called blacks call them cracker, then get called Canadian, and shun Moors that say they're not Canadian. This world is full of crazy men with no knowledge of self, but got the most expensive cars and flat screens on the wall shelf. Going on our way to try to help you change, but you won't. And I hardly hear your opinion of Marcus Garvey, but Steve Harvey stands out, true, cool, and jester, making a fool of you and himself for wealth. To me, those sellouts need to get bodied or exiled to Dr. Moreau's island with Gentiles and reptiles. Fake slave ships stacking bodies and piles, giving fake Jews slave respect, not giving me smiles, calling children kids, chasing after Taji guys, supremacy, use albino and half-breed spies. We catch trespassers with razors and mesh, pedophile torture, scotch bonnet and open flesh. Traitors get the shitty end of the stick. Our leaders murderers should have been crushed with pyramid bricks. Huey Newton and Hampton killers should be in front of a squad shooting by any means necessary. Get out the beast's belly. Why y'all get mad glory and your flow's mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you in F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pad or Lori. Making me comments mad derogatory. Why y'all get mad glory and your flow's mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you in F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pad or Lori. Making me comments mad derogatory. About balance, my art the beam. Sellouts made it mainstream. Underground is almost unseen. Gay A&R signed the rappers' contracts in blood. Took his soul, body didn't fall with a thud. He's a zombie, dyed hair, dress wearing thug. Burn that garbage, too much to sweep under the rug. Police can't collar a crime without snitches. You're lucky to escape the custody, not dead with just stitches. Make you hit your hair, take Hindus to Ganesha possess ya, and raising your blood pressure. Anything to do with Moors, they don't want you near. Don't search where it's black, you won't find it there. No matter how much you beg, they won't tell you where. No matter how much you don't have, they won't tell you here. Negroes weren't the first slaves, no reparations first. While you wait for your reparations, it looks like a hearse. They won't pay you reparations anyway, only if you agree to make yourself black and gay. Instead of towards Moors, they want you to stray. Won't find your mind when it's in disarray. Thinking being European is the only way, hurling insults at your creator. She will get you later. Why y'all get mad glory and your flow's mad corny. Your skin tight jeans put you into F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pad or lorry. Making me comments mad derogatory. Why y'all get mad glory and your flow's mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you in F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pad or lorry. Making me comments mad derogatory. What's the reason for the treason is the question and the lesson. I hear most professing, but really possessing. Taking minds messing with thought patterns and pathways. Nero wanna be a hero when they really cipher, not Neo, not Morpheus or Gil and Finding Nemo. Selling out with no remorse, you and yours. Calling you black, showing you who's the boss. Always marching, but never thought sue the police force or do like Haitians. Add some voodoo, of course. You might hurt them unexpected. It could be bloody. Feel your cells curl and your hair stand from walking duppies. Looked, all of a sudden, judge yelled and wept. In court, judge with cold sweats and throat strap. He can't talk yet, cause the candle was lit before I left. Forget Africa. Hip hop was the grand theft. Why y'all get mad glory and your flow's mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you into F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pad or lorry. Making me comments mad derogatory. Why y'all get mad glory and your flow's mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you in F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pad or lorry. Making me comments mad derogatory.
Aborigines, which means what? Black folks. But you never find a white aborigine. Hey, rather, aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't like to be called an aborigine. You want to be called an American. Aborigine, but you don't like to be called an aborigine. You want to be called an American. They're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't like white aborigines. Hey, rather, aborigines are called natives, they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't like. Hey, rather, aborigines are called natives, they're always dark-skinned people.
What he said, they're always what? What did he say? He said that they're always dark-skinned people, right? A blackamoor is a dark-skinned person. Remember, this is y'all boy that you call Malcolm X. We call him El Haj Malik El Shabazz. You guys call him Malcolm X. Remember, it's still you guys February BS, so we're going to use all your stuff just to show you. So remember, this is your boy. And he's telling you that
Aborigines, which means what? Black folks. But you never find a white aborigine. Hey, rather, aborigines are called natives, they're always dark-skinned people.
Aborigines, this is your boy. Aborigines are called natives and they're always dark-skinned people and they're black folks. And then when we go to blackamoor, it tells you that a blackamoor is a dark-skinned person, especially black sense. In the sense of, you don't want to say dark, you're going to say black people instead. Okay, fine. Black people are blackamoors. Which is, again, telling people the same thing that we're saying. Just put black on it and make it legit. Stop BSing. You want to be black? Fine. Be a blackamoor. Don't be black without a more. Because right down there it tells you history and etymology of blackamoor, that it's black plus more. That makes blackamoor. And black is written in lowercase to show you that's an adjective. So it can't be an identity, plus more with the capital M right there, which lets you know that it's a person, place, thing, or idea. And don't forget that he was also mistaken when he said,
You and I are Aborigines.
we are no goddamn Aborigine. We're Moors. He found that out. You can go on Rami Salam L's page and go watch a video he found with Malcolm talking about the Moors, that he knew about them. Your boy knew about them. Don't tell me nothing about, well, he said we're Aborigines, so that means we're Aborigines. Shut the hell up. You guys let him get murdered. Now you want to rep what he's saying? Shut the hell up. And you still call him by the slave name. When he went and did his Hajj, came back with new name with the L in there. And you guys are playing.
You want to be called an American.
Right? You don't want to be called Aborigines. You want to be called an American because he never checked that yet. He was still playing NOI, Elijah Muhammad, Fard Muhammad brainwash that people are colors and continents. You know what the hell he was talking about when he said, you don't want to be American? Bet you, if you would have looked up American and saw that it meant the people who were here before the European came here, that means he's talking about the Aborigines. Who are the dark-skinned people who are really Moors? But people like to make it sound like, you know, it's Cujo. No, it's Cujo because he doesn't know what he's talking about and he's not whatever. So just for all the troll whoever's and all that stuff, I'm going to STFU. And I'm just going to be in the background running the controls. And we'll let you get told by others. You just want to play dumb. Like this is like how you want to play stupid stuff with Taj Tariq Bey's teachings and stuff like that. The hell are you talking about? This is worldwide knowledge. This is world history that we're talking about. We're not talking about some only in North America bullshit. These people have no say. I don't care what they call themselves. The fact that they're only claiming over here, they're some jackasses. And they look like people who are world people. But no, they don't want the world. They want Turtle Island. So I'm going to get off my horse. This is a lot more. I don't know, just let me know where you want to start, or you just start and you tell me what to play when you're ready to play stuff.
You can run it, and then we just go in on.
All right. Well, number one first. Part one. All right. Part one. Part one. Action.
Man, look, I don't know why these dudes is after me. You know what I'm saying? These Moors, you know, and they try to sit up here. You can say whatever you want to say about me. You can attack me. You can call me this. You can call me that. But nigga, I'm just spit.
It's love. Real quick, because I remember I used to bother you and ask you questions like, what are we going to do about the people who won't proclaim their nationality? Like when I first started coming in. And you would tell me, I don't care about that more. I got my birthright. You know who you are? And I'd be like, you know what? Like, yeah, you know, it's like for that dude, when he first started talking, like I'm starting to get like you now. Like, I don't care what these people do. I got my birthright. You know, like you want to be Indian, black, whatever. I don't care. I know who I am. They can keep playing all those name games all they want. But we already got our birthright. We know who we are. But if you want to keep playing these games, like the Great Sheik said again, all right, we'll keep beating you upside the head and using you for an example to show the people, for these sellouts out here, you're going to keep getting beat upside the head over and over and over again if you keep trying to sell out our people. Because we have our birthright. We already know we're Moors. Ain't no trying to convince or switch us that we're some Indians. Like that's not happening. We know exactly who we are. We got our nationality and birthright. Obuju Ali came in 1913. He told us. These Indian people, whatever, became. We're gonna go in because it just frustrates me how he just starts off talking like these Moors. Like I'm like, man, and he's a Moor. Like we starting it. Yeah. Now I just wanted to qualify that real quick, real sheet, because it's not like they're convincing us. They're not convincing us. We know we Moors.
Shit.
Just to stress the point.
Facts, nigga. I'm telling the truth. You know, I'm telling the truth. I'm using the laws of the land to support what I'm saying.
Hold on, Branch.
I'm using legal meanings to support what I'm saying. And you niggas is mad at me.
Yeah, what?
Also, anytime somebody keeps saying facts, you might want to double check them facts. Yep. Don't trust them just because they say facts and all of that. Nah, I just wanted to put that on the record because he used the word facts all throughout these presentations. Yeah, that's that. No facts. Being his own hype man, trying to amp himself up. Yeah, but he's not saying anything. He's not saying anything in any sense because he'll pull up some document and then distort it. That's his move. Yeah, you could roll the tape.
I mean, because you black identity extremists. You know what I'm saying? You the type of niggas who go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Who keep you know, telling people, oh, well, you can do this paperwork and we're sovereign citizens. And now that the sovereign citizen shit not working, now y'all trying to attach yourselves to the indigenous people here. But I'm gonna show.
There's love.
See, that's the other thing. That's the SPLC talking right there. That's Southern Poverty Law Center talking. That's exactly who he sound like. That's where he got that from. That website that goes against the Moors, who is not even a credible website. The brother Jenny was putting me on, telling me they got sued or whatnot for degrading people and with false information, and he's going to their website to go against our people who Moors. We're going around telling people this is our land. We're the true people, the original people to the land. Our rights are being denied, and these people are foreigners. And he's going on there saying, "Oh, the police officers giving them jurisdiction because we know that these foreigners are highwaymen, municipalities, corporations participating in human trafficking." But he's again giving them the jurisdiction, saying that police officers are saying that they're sovereign citizens and all of this, but he's supposed to be Aboriginal Indigenous guy. He knows that he's supposed to know that all of that stuff said about us is coming from foreigners, European colonizers. But he would use the enemy stuff to go against his own people. And we keep saying it over and over again. It's always our own. Go ahead, brother. Now I was just adding this when it's beneficial for him because he, like you say, he Aboriginal, Indigenous, and I use the laws of the land. But then you go into the people who came here. The whole system may run off of its feud. That's the root of feudal.
If they supposed to be so right, go ahead.
No, you good.
Because if they so indigenous, why are they using colonizers' information to go against us? Those are the colonizers' tactics, saying that Moors are some sovereign citizens, whatever. Like that's Europeans say that against us, making it seem like we're squatting on our own land. He's using their information against us. Not finding no factual information for him to go do some research on to try to put us on to something. Nope, he went straight to SPLC, which we already know, been going through that for years now. So as soon as we hear it, we already know where he got it from. Because it's the same line over and over again. These Moors think they're Aboriginal, Indigenous, and whatever sovereign citizens. That's Southern Poverty, SPLC. That's where that came from. That sovereign citizens talk, and then I never even looked up that sovereign citizen stuff until their boy Dan Calloway made his nationality package. They're the ones that's actually dealing with that sovereign citizen package Christianity stuff. They are. They putting that in their packages. Then they're going to try to say Moors are sovereign citizens. I've seen all this stuff in Dan Calloway's package. He's the one that's doing all of that, not Moors. Y'all the ones that's practicing free sovereign man on the land practices, which is Eurocentric tactics. Y'all doing that. Dan Calloway and his followers. They're trying to make it seem like Moors is doing it. We got y'all package. We seen it. We seen it. Click right on it. All of that stuff is Christian sovereign citizen, and that's what the indigenous Indian guys is pushing.
I like when somebody who not even party to the treaty, but you trying to read our treaty to us.
Right.
It's almost, don't worry, I'm just chat muftiing while I'm running the board, so bear with me sometimes. Bear with me sometimes. They're not getting the plastic's already laid out, boys. Do your thing.
Show the people how fraud you Moors are. But we're gonna start it off like this, because y'all like to bring up the Treaty of Peace and Friendship as if y'all got power. So this is, I believe, Article 6 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. We're gonna start it off like this. If any Moor shall bring citizens of the
pardon the interjection. Islam to Brother Supreme L. But I just wanted to say, just because I can't say anything, could somebody just talk about that power thing that he just talked? Because Moors have a different perspective about power. Just so we could.
Well, we know even the prophet tell us, right, that power is illusion.
That's right.
But this treaty is not predicated off of some power. This treaty was predicated off of world history. The purpose that this treaty came into place is because at the time, and according with world history, we were the only people granting anything. Still to this day, we the only ones who grant even the power that this quote-unquote European saying that he has. It's because we actually granting them that. Every time you call them man, every time you call yourself black, or every time you call yourself African American, to this day, we the only ones who grant any kind of power or any kind of anything. So again, for the record, this treaty is not predicated on to show
that we had power or whatever. This was predicated off of the world history at the time. At that time, which is the treaty reading, that somebody who wasn't even established yet had to come to the Moors.
Just to add on to what the brother saying with the treaty, the title of it is Treaty of Peace and Friendship. What it was trying to do was to end all the years of hundreds of years of war that the Moors and the Christians was going through. We all know who had the power, but we was trying to end all of that. Oh, I'm higher than you, you higher than me. That was the point of the Peace and Friendship Treaty, to get rid of that. Like, I'm not above you, you're not above me. It's all peace right now. If you over here in a part of my land and you need some help, I gotta help you. You know, that's what it's about. If you know what I mean? It wasn't about being I'm powerful. And that's not, like the brother Jeremy perfectly said, that's not what the treaty is about. That was the reason why we was going to war, because we were playing that power game.
Mm-hmm. And that's actually the article he about to read, which is saying the same thing he's saying.
Right.
We are going back to nature's law, nature's God, the inalienable rights endowed by the Creator. That's what he about to read. That you have to come to us to talk that.
Islam.
United States for their effects to His Majesty. Let me read that again. If any more shall bring citizens of the United States or their effects to His Majesty. So it's already telling you that the Moors has a majesty, which means the Moors are subjects. And the title Moor.
Oh, yeah.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Hold on one sec. Brother Jeremy, if you could adjust your mic a little bit. You're sounding a little muffled. I don't know if you're talking right. Yeah.
I sound good. I'm good, Greg. I sound clear.
Yeah, you're clear. You're clear, Mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good. You hear me?
Oh yeah, that's way better. Yeah.
All right. So that's wrong. Because, like I say, this is world history. Now, unfortunately, he's reading the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, which is dealing with the United States and us, right? But I have treaties where the people who are trying to hide under this shell company called the United States, where they was a part of Britain, and they addressed the emperor or the sultan in the same manner. His Majesty is how they addressed the sultan. That's not our Majesty. That's how you spoke to sovereignty or who was sovereign. Just like when George Washington wrote the emperor, he started it off by calling him what? Great and magnanimous friend.
Mm-hmm.
Islam, you see that?
Islam, more. You just digested.
So, and just to add on to that is that he said that Moors have a majesty. Well, guess what? His Majesty, that means it's no women who are Moors. Moors are not just men. His Majesty don't mean a Moor's majesty. That's what they called the emperor or the sultan or whatever you want to call it. And if you think that His Majesty means His meaning the more and Majesty meaning who we were subject to, that is not scholarly, because women are Moorish. We come from the woman, the Moabite. So with him pushing what he's pushing is basically saying that only men are Moors.
That's true. And that's kind of contradicting what he's saying too, because it shows that the Moors did have power. If they have a majesty, if he's the sultan, that shows that the Moors did have power if they want to play that power game. You know, and then my thing before we go in real hard, to add on what Brother Jimmy was saying with the majesty. Now, these so-called Aboriginal Indigenous people, they got an Indian chief, and ain't nobody mad complaining about them and their Indian chief. And then when you look up any of these so-called Indian tribal whatever, when you look up their chiefs, they're all Europeans. So what's going on? What's going on? You guys are all these Aboriginal black Indian crap, but your chief is a European. And everybody that you're talking about, oh, see, the Moors have a majesty, that means they're subject. You're saying that. You said that. That don't mean that. You just made that up. You just made that up. That doesn't mean that. You said that. And Indians have chiefs. So what that make y'all? If you want to play those games, and you're subject to a European chief. Those are Europeans that are chiefs now.
But we don't want to, because we stick to world history, so we can elaborate on how y'all European chiefs became heads of all these Indian nations.
Right. Which are modern terms.
Yeah.
Because remember, in the book We Are All Moors, Anur Majid says the conquistadors, when they got here, they called them Al-Faki. That's an Arabic term. They didn't call them chiefs. Call them Al-Faki. A-L-S-A-Q, what is it, Q-I or Q-U-I? A-L-S-A-Q-I, something like that. Yeah, Al-Faki. That's what the conquistadors were referring to the Moors here when they got here. That's it. I was telling Brother Jeremy. Montezuma and them never even heard of the word Indian. Never even heard of the word Aboriginal, Indigenous. They never even heard of those words. They never even heard of them. But you people supposed to be of them, descendants of those people? Like how? Your ancestors never even heard of those words. How could you be that? I heard the great sheik earlier say too, you calling yourselves continents. I want to tell people again, get the book called The Myth of Continents. Get the book called The Myth of Continents. Actually, if the great sheik got time, if he can do the online etymology definition of continents, and we can see another reason why our thinking is all messed up. Because of continents. They break law off continents. You're over there on that side of the world, I'm over here on this side of the world, and then we start breaking down the countries and all of that stuff. But continents don't exist. They made that up. The whole I'm over here, that's Britain thinking, made up in the 1610s. You see it right in the dictionary. Continents is a modern Eurocentric thinking. The first time the word continent was made up was in 1550. You can look it up. And they use that now to divide. That's how they're dividing. You're over there. Anciently, we didn't look at the world like that. We didn't look at as continents. I'm over here, you're over there. We looked at it as if what it is. It's the earth. We're all on it.
I have it up
We're
right
all
now.
on it.
I have it up right now, just so you know.
Now, if you look, its first word is 1550s on continents. 1550s. And then if you scroll down underneath it, it has another definition underneath it. And it'll tell you 1610, when the thought of how we look at continents now, oh, that it's separate pieces of land and stuff like that. That didn't come about till 1610, and Britain made that up. See, in the definition, it's not. That's why I always tell the world, I always say all the time, the whole world is Morocco, because more means land.
Oh, and just to interject, pardon the interjection. And this also proves how Europe being a continent was created.
There you go. There you go.
Which lets you know, because
they
Europe's
had
not
to
a
put
continent.
themselves on the earth.
Eurocentric thinking. Eurocentric thinking.
That's telling you, it's a whole banger. They wrote themselves into history. They put themselves on the earth by creating that continent, when there's no such thing as a continent at all.
You're right, because if time is together in 10, whatever is stretched, then if it's a continuous stretch, right?
Right.
And what they're really saying is Asia being a continent, or like you say, Morocco, right? Because more means land. Even if, when we say Maghreb al-Aqsa, right? They was referring the Moorish Empire, but even Maghreb means land.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So it's the land furthest west.
Yeah.
And we're taught, how old is our flag?
Thousands.
10,000.
Exactly. The word continent just came up. Our flag predate continents. So if our flag predate the word continent, what was that flag covering over? What was its vastness? What was the extensive of? Because continents just came up 40 years ago. But our flag over, some say 50,000, some say 10,000. So what was that vast flag covering? Because continents just came up.
It's probably why all of these corporate states that they're referring to as nations now either have a star.
Tell them, Jeremy. Or
crescent.
Tell them. That's right. Give a damn
about the color. Give a damn about the color. Start worrying about, you're talking about the Moorish flag. What's on the Moorish flag? The star Venus.
As soon as I saw that, I said, the whole world is Morocco. They sleep. They keep thinking it's not possible. All right? Continents don't exist. The word land means land. The whole world is Morocco. I don't be playing when I say that. I really mean that. I really mean that. The whole world is the Moroccan Empire. There's no such thing as continent.
That is what you're there. I'm just thinking, like, Moro and Co, right?
Yeah.
Moro and Co. I mean, like, you can take how you want it. A body of Moors, a company of Moors, right? CO is with, right?
Yep.
Like if you have a co-worker, right?
Yep.
These people need to stop the bullshit. And another thing for the record, Moors don't come from only North Africa. That's why the whole world is Morocco. That's why it's Moorish. If Moorish presence in each of these parts of the world that you think that is for the people that you see now. So when we talk about Europe, right? You think that part of Europe there's a bunch of people who look like Matt Damon and Charlize Theron and Uma Thurman, and then when you go to Asia, that part of the world, everybody look like Jackie Chan. No, that's modern. That's the people who are sitting in the seats now. Just like when you think of Indian, when you go to Cherokee Nation, the dude look like shit, Matt Damon or Uma Thurman. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the modern thing. But it's just like if you back when it was VHS, right? Mm-hmm. When you put in the VHS, you always have to rewind it all the way back if you want to watch the full movie. Right. Now, sometimes you might get a VHS, you put it in, and you see the credits rolling. That's like putting the VHS in, and the person who lent it to you didn't rewind it. So you just think you're going to watch the movie and you see the credits already? Rewind it. You think the movie's going to play again? You got to go back. You always have to go back. And when you do go back, it always comes back to more.
Yep. Every time. Every time. So I try to, I'm like, man, come on. My flag is older than the word itself. The thought, because I was breaking it down to my boy, he said, so what word do we use? And what word did they use for continent back then? I said, now let's look at the definition again. It tells you in the definition, the thought of how we look at continents, what we thought were separate pieces of land, that didn't even exist till 1610. It never was a thought. It never existed. Nobody thought like that. For it to be another word to take place of it. The thought didn't exist till 1610. There was never a thought of, oh, this is separate over there. This is over there. I gotta go. That didn't exist till 400 years ago. That's new. That's brand new. It's brand new. And it proves it even more because if they was enslaving people, talking about they was bringing them to America, how? When the continent didn't even exist, it wouldn't be. The whole world would be looked at as just the world still. There wasn't no. Because slavery started in what 1618 Jamestown, Virginia, 1620 Jamestown, Virginia. The thought of continent didn't start coming till 1610. So how are y'all bringing somebody from over there to over here when the thought of continent didn't exist till 1610? How are we doing that?
And not only that, he's trying to read Article 6, but he could never have a historical reference point to actually understand or comprehend what he's reading. Because it says, if any more shall bring citizens of the United States or their effects to His Majesty, what is they saying? That's going back to when we was kidnapping everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when they say, and that's just the treaty with Morocco. Remember, Algiers had a majesty. Tangier had a majesty. It wasn't just Morocco had a majesty. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You see what I'm saying? No, it don't work no, it didn't work like that. It didn't work like that. And we was all related. And all we was doing was kidnapping and ransoming your Christian slaves. That was the commodity then. That was the business. It was a worldwide business, like cell phones now. It was worldwide business. We was doing that with European chattel. The whole world is Morocco.
And then going back to what you were saying, right? Because this is a mind that we read. They wanted peace and friendship. So even if we did kidnap you and we brought you to our master or whatever, our master was gonna let you free, whether you're from Britain, Ireland, because you know these are all European colonies that's being set. Like we go to get Abdullah Khalid Mossadegh book, where every colony was even whatever you think it is today. There was a treaty put in place before that could even happen. So when they talk about citizens of the United States, they're saying those roguish people who broke away from the colonies. They even knew that these people was roguish, breaking away from the colony, and still might get kidnapped. So if a more bring a citizen of that new thing they trying to remember, this is something new they're trying to push, because before this treaty, we have treated with Great Britain, France, and all these other people. That's how they set up their colonies. No one did anything. Just like when they say, King of New York, if a nickel bag gets sold in the park, I want in.
Nothing happened without the Moors knowing or getting part of it. Nothing.
Albion wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for our mother.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Because people like to say that, you know, the Moors are in bed with the Europeans or whatever.
Man, ask Jane Elliott. She'll tell you. Unfortunately, she's gonna use a colorable term, but she know who her mother is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a perfect one. She did say it. Jane Elliott will tell you the first people on Earth was the Moabite woman for thousands of years, and everything else is after.
Not only that, why would more mean land though, right? Don't they call Mother Nature, Mother Country? Even the woman is referred to dealing with the land or the water. That's why more mean land, more mean water. The woman, you passing through the stargate. More means light when we go to the metaphysical, but people don't, they're not sitting in every hall of learning, because I really don't know why, because even we had a prophet who told us to sit in all halls, but for some reason, these people won't only sit in one hall. They ain't even in the hall.
Everything they try to do is disprove Moors. That's what they do. Just try to disprove Moors.
Oh, yeah, hold on.
Is like an officer. It's not talking about a sovereign people or a nation of people. It's telling you people who's working for the majesty, who are subjects to the majesty. The citizens shall immediately be set at liberty, which means to be free, and the effects restored, and in like manner, if any more not a subject of these dominions, let's pull up dominion. We're going to go to dominion. We're going to find out the definition of dominion. Ownership or right to property. Let me zoom it in for y'all to see. Because it's talk about Moors who are not subjected to.
Hold on, Gracie.
Y'all can see my cursor.
Yeah. By the way, you Moors are doing a great job. Thank you for this today.
And not only that, since you were okay, we talking about any more not subject of these dominions. Well, the United States, they was getting off the ground. Well, what we call in North America or whatever. So if you're a Moor and you're not subject to these dominions, which they referring to North America. He do a diversive tactic if you keep watching the video, but any more not subject to these dominions would be like in the treaty where they talk about Turks or any other more, because they're talking about if you was in Turkey or whatever, what they call Turkey, and you got snatched up, you still was gonna be let free. That's how much power we had. Or let me just say cool. So when they say any more who is not a subject to these dominions, they saying that even if you get snatched up by anybody who's not even a Moorish American, you're gonna be let free. And if they use the dominions of these dominions, that means they're talking ownership or the right to property. But that's us speaking. There's not no United States making their own terms because we're about to open up a business. It's good.
It's love.
It's right here, this yellow cursor. So it says ownership or right to property or perfect or complete property or ownership. Now, if we scroll down here, sovereignty or lordship as the dominion of the seas. So they talk about the dominion of the land over there. So let's go back. Let's read it again.
Yo, look at that. Look at that.
If any more shall bring.
Why would they be talking about over there if the United States is trying to get off the ground?
Right, but where did that just come from? I don't even know where that came from. That had nothing to do with nothing. He just said it for no reason. Like, it had nothing to do with what you were reading. Like, you just said that. Like, you read the definition and said, see, they talking about over there. The definition didn't say nothing about that at all. Like, how did you read that and got that out of that? How did you do that? That's so wrong. Like, I'm looking at you, like when he did that, I'm really looking at, I'm like, is he all right? Like, something wrong with this guy? Because I'm thinking, like, you know, like, maybe something's wrong with him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think, because that's not normal to do something like that. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not going to be sitting here going back and forth with a guy who something wrong with him. Like, if something wrong with you, like, somebody needs to come monitor the guy on the internet. Like,
so he has the special edition dictionary.
Right. Right. Oh man. Can you rewind that part one more time? Yeah. She sounds crazy.
Not subjected to dominion. If y'all can see my cursor, it's right here, this yellow cursor. So it says ownership or right to property or perfect or complete property or ownership. Now, if we scroll down here, sovereignty or lordship as the dominion of the seas. So they talk about the dominion of the land over there. So let's go back. Let's read it again. Any more shall bring citizens of the United States or their effects to His Majesty. The citizens shall immediately be set at liberty and the effects restored. And in like manner, if any more not a subject of these dominions shall make prize of any of the citizens of America or their effects and bring them into any of the ports of His Majesty. There we go again. Let the Moors know this is the only power that you're getting is the power, like your power is kind of like an officer. Matter of fact, that's a perfect example.
Again, His Majesty is how they refer to the emperor or the sultan or whatever you want to call him. is not saying this treaty is not talking about a Moor. And when they say his, they're referring to His Majesty goes together. It's not His Majesty. You know what I'm saying? Because what about the women? Because women are Moors too. A Moor is just not a man. And not only that, is that they can't be talking about dominions over there, because when you do the word history, is that what they call Mali, what they call all of that, was all together, and it was referred to as Mauritania, or the town of the Moors. So we're talking about a treaty that's going down, and they're speaking of Morocco. And if you want to cross the Atlantic, they refer to that as Mauritania at the time. All of that, not just what you see right now as Mauritania. Just like Georgia was stretched from the eastern seaboard almost to where they started the Louisiana Purchase, before you see Georgia now that you see, so that was the colony. So even when they show you the 13 colonies and all you see is those little blue things along the eastern seaboard, that is a farce, because they stretched almost all the way, just like the map y'all showed the other class.
Yeah, Mexico.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta watch these people dangerous.
Yep. And just to add on too, you read right there where it says dominion over the seas. The dominion over the seas. Water is everywhere. Water is everywhere. Just the ocean goes into the rivers and makes some streams, lakes, and all of that. Like water, the seas, water go in your kitchen sink. Water go in your bathroom. Water is everywhere. That's dominion over the sea. That's dominion over the water. Wherever water goes, that's what we got dominion over. That's the world. That's the world. Dominion over the sea. Say right here, dominion over the sea. That's water. And say it right there. It's not like I'm making that up. And say it right there. It says dominion over the sea. Right in the treaty. He read it. It made it seem like, oh, they talking about over there. Like, no. How? Water doesn't have a wall. You can't stop water. Water just everywhere. Like, how did you do that? How did you get that out of that? They talk about over there. How? They talk about water over the seas. You ever stood at a beach? You ever stood at the beach and looked at the water? It looks like it never ends. It looks like it don't never end. Like, I don't know when that's gonna stop. Dominion over that.
I guess
dominion over that. That's we got dominion over. Like where are y'all looking at right now? Like, really, you gotta really look at that. When I saw that, I said, okay, let's go. Morocco, that's it. That's it. It's the water. Man, water goes everywhere. Water goes everywhere. Everywhere. Dominion over that.
And so does the Moors.
Facts.
Moors go everywhere. Look. Just like how you were saying, right? Endless. Is that they keep reason why everybody caught up in Moors being from North Africa, because let's just be real. Let's take it. We trying to complicate things sometimes. Let's just get simple. When these Albanians or whatever, when they was running into people who look like us, everybody in the chat and on this line, and then you go, let's say if you go to Europe, oh, there's some more. Some more people look like where I just came from, and then you go to Hindustan, oh, some more, and then you go to where our moral brothers and sisters are, oh, some more, because everywhere you went, it was endless that you're gonna run into people with like the definition say, anyone with dark skin. And then Christopher Columbus, 1492. Mind you, let's go ahead and let's keep it simple. This was just a vacant, abandoned house over here. Nobody knew about this. And then he came across the moors, which is the water, and then ran into some more. Like, everywhere.
Everywhere.
I don't even know. Debate Christopher. Debate Christopher Columbus. Debate him.
Why would he call us descendants of Queen Sheba, right? That's what I think you dropped that on the other day.
Debate Cortez, Fernando, and the conquistadors. When they got here, they said, these Moors. Debate them. It ain't like, oh, we made this up. Noble Drew Ali, 1913, Moor Science Temple Moors. No. Cortez said it when he got here in the 16th century. These Moors, that's 400 years before Noble Drew Ali. And they talking about, oh, you can't be a Moor unless you go to the temple. It's a bunch of stuff going on that is just incredible. Incredible.
How do you think the prophet could bring back? You think the prophet didn't run across all of this stuff? You think he just out of nowhere, like, you know what? I don't really like this Indian Cherokee stuff. What y'all think about this? I'm gonna call us more. No. All he did was stumble across the same truth that anybody. That's why he told everybody to study. Because if you honestly doing that, you're going to stumble across the same history, the same reference points, the same books. How many Moors right now have the same books on this line, or the same book? And more than a check, have the same book. Like I be reading out of CMB, and then Cujo do a class on CMB. It's not like I was like, hey, you know, I'm reading CMB. I want you to go live and talk. No. When you study, we all gonna run across the same thing. Like that's when you find out where the European actually come from. You'll really stop calling them white then. It's the same person. Same person talking about you're Indian. He also called people white and black and brown and red. He called himself a red skin. This man called himself a football team. And you about to think he have an Indian council? You think he counseling Indians?
That's why I put that video that I put up. Perfect. Ain't no such thing as the redskin. That's fraud. Ain't no such thing as redskin because of your skin color. That's degrading. And that's coming from the so-called native groups that's really in it, you know, on the reservations and stuff like that. That's coming from them. So for this guy to say, oh, he's red skinned, I'm not dark skinned, I'm red skinned, like to agree with that is incompetent. It's incompetent because like why you like they just told you because y'all all them over there, they said that they Native Americans too. They said that being called Redskins is degrading. But you said, oh no, we're Redskins, we're not dark skins. Like, that's why I keep saying something's wrong with this dude. I think something's wrong with him. I don't think, you know, he's not for real. Like he just get mad when the Grand Sheik, you know, tells him the STFU. You know what I mean? And now he's just mad all over again. Like, oh, we're not boys, because he's feeling some type of way. Like, no, like, nobody cares about all you and your feelings. Like, we're just Moors. Don't try to cause confusion because you got to ask. That's crazy. That's because, like, you know, like all the time, I son walks by and he's looking at me and he goes like, he got that face, and I'm like, you ain't the dirty word.
You're getting a little choppy. Brother Yusuf, you're getting a little choppy.
No, that's all. That's all. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No, I was just saying, you know, the children is listening. You know, my son, sometimes he's walking by me and he can hear me listening to, you know, people who are saying run down Moors or whatever, and he's looking at me like, what's going on? And I'm like, don't worry, they're dirty Moors. But how you can tell in his face, he knows, like,
something's wrong.
The stuff that they talking is crazy. You know, he can tell, like, okay, what's going on with him, Daddy? He's talking crazy. Exactly. Exactly. That's the whole thing. He's talking crazy. I'm glad you noticed.
I'm glad you noticed.
I'm glad you noticed. The 10-year-old.
Yeah,
the 10-year-old, he noticed.
That's what it's about too. Them getting it. Straight.
Oh, your power comes from somebody higher than you. So they're giving you power to do a specific task, just like a chief of a police force or a chief of the sheriff's department. They have a boss.
Or the chief of an Indian tribe. Don't try to skip that.
Hold on, let me write.
Yo, come on, man.
It's kind of like an officer. Matter of fact, that's a perfect example. Your power comes from somebody higher than you. So they're giving you power to do a specific task, just like a chief of a police force or a chief of the sheriff's department. They have a boss. So their boss.
Yo, see that? But wait. If hold on, y'all listen to, because he's making some heavy accusations and some implications right now. If Indians actually have chiefs, right? Wouldn't they be the officers too? That's why he didn't say it. He didn't want to say chief of the Indian tribe. He didn't want to use that example because he was throwing himself under the bus. He ignored it. It was at the tip of his tongue. He was gonna say it. He was like, hold on, I can't say it. He was like, hold on, I can't say that.
Okay, pardon the interjection. Okay, I'm gonna ask you about this question. Because what I checked, so what I checked is, we'll listen to it again, and then after he says the first chief, there's like a pause there. Is that oops, I messed up pause, or is that oops, my agent is gonna look at me funny because I think I just played myself? Hold on, we'll just play it. We'll just play it again.
That's exactly what
they're
happened.
giving you power to do a specific task, just like a chief of a police force or a chief of the sheriff's department. They have a boss.
Wow. Wait. Chief is nowhere in, bro. If this dude could find chief in any Moorish treaty, let me know. But I could find you an Indian chief. Quick, fast.
Yo, but that pause is priceless. I'm telling you, bro. That pause right there, that's the, you know you done messed up, right? you know you just fucked up, right? You know you just fucked up, right?
I don't even know why I even tried to expound on the chief part.
Right. Well, no, he just did it just now. He just did it. I can't believe he did that.
So their boss is giving them power to delegate and do certain things. And that goes back to what I was saying, the meaning of more, when you're dealing with the legal meaning of words, what is more? I'm about to zoom in for y'all. More, an officer in the Isle of Man who summons the courts for the several settings. The officer is similar to the English bailiff of 100. It's telling a more, the name more is nothing but an officer. It has nothing to do with indigenous people. It's dealing with subjects, people working for government. But these niggas, oh, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, nigga, it's not giving you no power. You don't have no power.
Oh, okay.
Your majesty.
It's well, man. It's well. Wow. All right. It's well, good sheep.
So,
all right. Now you can go to the, because you know we study. If you can go to the online etymology dictionary, if you type in officer, it tells you the office, right? Now, when you look at the definition of office, it starts giving you the definition, right? But then it gives you its, its ancient definition. And in that, I forgot where it comes. I think it's derived from Latin or something like that. I forgot which word it's derived from. But in officer, the first definition it says power. It's the first thing it says. He keeps talking about the Lord has no power. And the Lord is subject and everything, but they're just an officer. More means officer, and then we look up officer, it's derived from office. First thing it says is power. And then I've seen, and it also says divine officer. A divine officer. I said, Ali said this is a divine and national movement. It's no wonder why officer says divine, a divine officer. I was like, wow, I didn't even know it would say divine officer. But in the definition of office, it tells you first thing, when you get down to the part where it gives you the original definition, it says
sorry,
power.
Pardon. It was which is even crazier, is divine service, not divine officer. Divine service.
Divine service. I'm sorry.
Ooh,
there we go.
But yeah, that's
divine service.
What's wrong with that?
I knew it was
Why wouldn't you want to be why wouldn't you want to be an officer? Why wouldn't you want to be an officer?
I knew it was something crazier.
If you're an officer, you're doing a divine service if you're an officer.
Right.
But Moors are officers, so that's negative. We're doing a divine service even right now. You know how much Indians linking up right now? Most people are saying, forget that indigenous Aboriginal BS, we're Moors. Okay, we really believe it now. We never thought so before, but yeah, we know. We're not the Black Indians and all that stuff. We're Moors. Yeah, let's go. How do I proclaim my nationality right now? Because they already know.
Yep. There ain't a definition.
Right in the definition.
I said, man, like, brother, you just let them talk. They bury themselves every time. Every time, just let them talk. I said, okay, well, let me look up officer to see what an officer is, and I'm like, oh man, Moors always win. You guys are the best.
Yeah. Moors are some hundreds and one loss, this European. And he only won because man gave the key up.
Oh yeah. This is the Sharifan Empire was impenetrable. Impenetrable. They couldn't penetrate it. Only way it could be broken is within.
From the inside.
Yes. Impenetrable. No, we could not be defeated. No, we can't. What? Defeat us? You crazy?
The Moors. And the real deal in America, the Moors were the Sultan and the Aboriginal Black whoever's were the officers. Because they were playing around. Because this is the Moroccan Empire. I don't care what type of land we didn't touch yet. And there's people there. We're the Moors. We're not saying you can't do whatever you do, but trust me, Moors went into the jungles and seen people there and said, okay, these people will be fine. They're not gonna see civilization. There was too much stuff going on to say we didn't have any power and all that stuff, even power is an illusion and all that. Still, but people stay talking crazy. We're gonna go to the other video because that one just got demolished.
I think at the end of that one is when you pull out the reference point of the SPLC.
Was it that one or was I think it was a later one. Or was it this one? Hold on. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, hold on. Let me just back it up.
I think it come up to the 6 minute point.
Yeah.
Like 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah, 7 minutes or something.
Hold land here. Because no matter where you go in the Americas, you're going to have tribes and nations that have land here. Facts. So you're going to have to prove through ancestral rights that that land could be yours or it could be passed down to you. Now I'm going to read something else to you guys. Origins. We're going to deal with the origins of the Moors. The origins of the Moorish sovereign citizen movement are difficult to ascertain and often misunderstood. According to law enforcement sources, Moorish sovereign citizens are closely affiliated with the Moorish Science Temple of America and trace their roots to the creation of the Moorish Science Temple in 1913.
Oh yeah, who's first? We know that these people are sent.
Oh, I'm on mute. Is that where you got that from? You got that document from SPLC?
SPLC.
He reading the dissertation from the SPLC about Moors.
Dang, man. Yeah, that is crazy. And what's even more crazier is that when you really look at where he got that information from, like he got it from the Inquisitionists. Because all of that right there is Inquisitional practice that the SPLC, or the whatever alphabet people there is, the Feds, whatever, whoever, their whole thing was based off of the Inquisition towards the Moors. Their whole setup is the Inquisition towards the Moors. And for him to read any document from them to come at the Moors is proves to see whose side he's on, and who sent him.
Yep. Had to be said.
Because you just don't just read, like you got that right from the Inquisitional people. Like you got that right from them. Like that's Inquisitional practice to say, like, oh, the police officers, those are not police officers, those are highwaymen. Those are highwaymen. And please, people do. There's an article online that somebody wrote. You can type in the PDF of highwaymen. Beautiful. Please look that up because it breaks down exactly what we're saying. It gives you the history of how these so-called officers are hired hitmen and are really highwaymen. Like that's who they are.
Well, what's the name of the thing? What's the name of the article or whatever?
Highwaymen. Like if the name of the article is called Highwaymen, you can just look up. It's a PDF article called Highwaymen. It's crazy. It breaks down exactly what's going on with these highwaymen. And if you got time too,
Alfred Noyes, you remember that name?
I'm not. But it's only like one. It's only like one document. It's not even. It should be that. Yeah, it's that one. It has to be that one.
Well, like a 10-page thing.
Right.
Okay.
Right, but it goes, and he goes in right in the beginning. He goes right in the beginning. I was just shocked that somebody else knew what we were talking about. Just to see that somebody wrote about it, I was like, wow.
You know what shocked me is that an Indian just tried to teach us about our treaty, and now he's going to somebody else to tell us about our origins.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Wow.
But when a Moor tell you,
they don't want to hear it though.
It's not credible. It's not credible. I don't want to hear that now. It's the same. Matter of fact, look up who is the founder of the SPLC. You. Just like, and I'm gonna just go ahead and break the ice. He looked just like the person who founded the Choctaw Dictionary. So they don't really want nothing coming from somebody like us,
Yeah, they automatically are gonna go to. Isn't that Stockholm syndrome?
Yep. And look, if you got time, because you want to get rid of everything, put tribe on the screen so they can see it. Online etymology. Put tribe on it on the screen. Let them see it. It's not like
yes, sir.
More is making. It's not. Don't be like, oh, more is just making this stuff up, or what their favorite thing is to do is not acknowledge it.
Yeah.
They make it seem like it wasn't said. They just keep going over something else. Like, no, acknowledge this right here. This is what tribe means. You have to acknowledge that.
And Yusuf, I'm glad you say that, because as they read that, I would like to share something from David McRitchie, right? All these Indians and everybody from tribes and all of that. All right? And on the page 276 of Ancient and Modern Britons, I'm gonna just read a few passages. And it goes, Lochaber, which lies some distance to the northeast of Jura, though within easy reach of it by water, was stated to be the country of the Moorish, or semi-Pictic tribe of the Canaanites, or clan Catan. And then he goes on to describe their dwellings. He said, of their dwellings at the time of his first visit to the highlands, Pennant says that the houses of the peasants in Lochaber are the most wretched that can be imagined, framed of upright poles which are wattled. The roof is formed of boughs like a wigwam, and the whole is covered with sods. Now, wigwam is what they call a teepee. So even before we even go any further, for the Indians, that teepees are of Moorish origin as well. And it says, in his second tour, he describes the summer dwellings of the Jura Islanders in similar terms. These formed a grotesque group. Some were oblong.
Hold on, man. Hold on. You know you can't say that once. You have to go back and do that part again.
What's that?
No, you gotta start over.
Oh, all right, peace.
Yeah, because that was a lot. That was a lot right there.
All right. So, read it from the top. It says, Lochaber, which lies some distance to the northeast of Jura, though within easy reach of it by water, was stated to be the country of the Moorish, or semi-Pictish tribe of the Canaanland or clan Catan. Of their dwellings at the time of his first visit to the highlands, Bennett says, the houses of the peasants in Lochaber are the most wretched that can be imagined. Frames of upright poles, which are wattled. The roof is formed of boughs like a wigwam. And if you look up the definition of wigwam on your own time, it is what they call teepees. And the whole is covered with sods. And sods is a piece of turf. And it goes on to say, in his second tour, he describes the summer dwellings of the Jura Islanders in similar terms. These formed a grotesque group. Some were oblong, many conic, and so low that the entrance is forbidden without creeping through the little opening, which has no other door than a faggot of birch twigs placed there occasionally. And faggot means a bundle. So they said that which has no other door than a bundle of birch twigs placed there occasionally. Right? Now we're gonna go on. Also, Grand Sheik, matter of fact, if you can like show them that picture too. For the Indians, so they can get this in their head that even your teepee is of Moorish origin. Now I'm gonna go on, and it says now
real quick, brother Jerry. Yeah. You said Catan, right? Can you
all right. It says the tribe of Canaanland, which is Cattanacs, and the clan Catan is Chattan.
Sound like Karen.
Because mind you, remember they were saying that the pigs look like gypsies and all of that.
Right.
All in this book. And Lochaber is what they call Scotland. So if Indians was in teepees, right? If the European or whatever, he said that Indians who was over here, they was in teepees, and then they showed you these pyramid or conic type of structures. You know that because it comes from the same people where the tribe originated from. That's a European description or depiction, and it still come back to the Moors. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give them a headshot right now. Now, this is distinctly an encampment of gypsies, or of Laps, or Northern Asiatics, or North Americans. It is the turf-covered game or coda of the Laps. Like you want to read Free White Persons, and they were talking about Laps and the Fin. These are Moors.
Right.
That's the bullshit. And its architecture is visibly the
He's
same.
hitting them with all daggers right now.
Look, I'm not finished, Mo. I'm not finished. Like they're gonna be looking like check. I'm gonna run it back then. Now this is distinctly an encampment of gypsies or of Laps or Northern Asiatics or North Americans.
Mm.
It is the turf-covered game or kota of the Laps, and its architecture is visibly the same as that of a red Indian camp, although I am not aware that the material turf is employed by any American tribe. Right? Now I'm about to keep going. Stop me if you have to. In short, these turf-built wigwams are the dwellings of the Scotto Picts or Egyptian Moors. Whether we look at these, whether one more time.
You can't do we doing that, man. We doing that.
One more time then. In short, these turf-built wigwams are the dwellings of the Scotto Picts or Egyptian Moors.
Oh, that's crazy.
Whether we look at these people in their latest individual form or as they appeared in the Hebrides last century, or at an earlier date than that, when they formed an important political entity in the British Islands, which their civilized and hybrid descendants still do. And their dwelling forms one of the very numerous links that unite the painted Moors of Scotland with certain kindred races in Europe, Asia, and America. Right? And just to, like you said, we laid the plastic out, right? For every Indian who say Moors don't have anything to do with North America, I have this one for you. When he mentioned the game or the kota, it's an asterisk. And when you go to the bottom where he has his notes, it says, compare English cot, coat, and cottage. Also, Gaelic cot, coda, a cottage. Kota, a coat, a petticoat. The radical meaning of this word would seem to be something that covers or encloses. In its Gaelic sense of a covering for the body, it is found amongst the Moors of North America. As for example, in the matched coda or principal female garment, referred to by Longfellow in the note to Hiawatha, which word seems as if it had once been used with petticoat. Now, I'm going to stop because in North America, right now, North Dakota, South Dakota, isn't it the Indians who call themselves Lakota, right?
Yep.
All of this come back to the Moors.
From Kota or cottage, yeah, right. Lakota Indians,
even right now, it's like, see, you know, I listen to a lot of conscious rap or whatever, and I've been on Common since I was young, right? Common himself from where? Cottage Grove.
Yeah, I gotta look at that all over again. Okay.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Cottage Grove was where the temple was in 08 too.
Exactly.
Oh, Cottage Street's off Bay Street over here.
Wow.
So, right. But I never looked at. It's just Cottage Street, but it's over here off day, right in the McKnight area. All of that. I didn't know Cottage meant that at all.
Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy when you study. No,
Yeah, all of that.
because he's playing games with SPLC. I don't want to put up that stuff because he just goes through that, going crazy.
Yeah.
But
yep.
Was there any other things that you wanted to get out without us playing the thing, and we'll see what we could look up or just
I'm glad you said that, Greg Sheep. Well, I mean, I don't know if anybody want to drain their mental and actually watch any of those 10-minute videos, but when he gets into the SPLC, they also try to slander the Empress of the Washita, saying that and also in the same SPLC whatever, they talk about the Treaty of 1787 and they called it fictitious. How is it fictitious if you started off reading our treaty? That's one. And also they slandered the mother, saying that what she did and all of that was false and didn't exist. Well, I have the book, Return of the Ancient Ones. And if you go to, you can go, it's on one, because these are copies that she put in her book. So you can go to page 42, and it's one more. Page 42, and hold on one second. Page 42 and one second. Then I was saying literally in the beginning. Yeah. So on page 6, you have two copies. One on page 6 from the International Hall of Fame. And it's saying, honorary degree, Doctor of Humanities, Her Highness, Verdiasi Tierra Washington Turner Galston, United in the LD, for her relentless efforts researching the history of nations of the world and their treaties for the indigenous people known as the Washita, work which resulted in the recovery of original territories and properties and recognition by the state of Louisiana and the United Nations. So she didn't make up that. She don't have the header. She can't she don't have the seal of a corporate entity to print that out and, give her own self congratulations. She have copies of, since everybody's saying Moors is crazy, they could never be indigenous, they from North Africa and not this Indian land. This is the Empress of the Washita. On page 6 and on page 42, she have two photocopies of somebody else. She not saying it, somebody else saying it. And go on, like Hashada say, go to Germany and debate all these people about what more means this. Go to those copies and then look up who that was, whose signature that is, and find them and go slander them, saying, how could you say this, that how the hell they indigenous? And then go to the other one and look up all of the people who, now they say the eyes have it. Go find them all and slander them. Like I'm done going back and forth. Like I'm not really with the back and forth. I killed all Indians a year ago. And let me just add one more thing. And I'm gonna get the floor all the way because I'm pretty sure Yusuf over there boiling right now. Also, I'm reading case law. This is the Cherokee Indians versus the state of Georgia, and I'm gonna just read if Indians are the supreme law and all of that and everything. I'm gonna just read what they think about the Indians. Case law. Cherokee Nation versus the state of Georgia. It says, though the Indians are acknowledged to have an unquestionable and heretofore unquestioned right to land they occupy, until that right shall be extinguished by a voluntary cession to our government, yet it may well be doubted whether those tribes which reside within the acknowledged boundaries of the United States can, with strict accuracy, be denominated foreign nations. They may, more correctly, perhaps, be denominated domestic dependent nations. They occupy a territory to which we assert a title independent of their will, which must take effect in point of possession when their right of possession ceases. Meanwhile, they are in a state of pupillage. Their relation to the United States resembles that of a ward to his guardian. They look to our government for protection, rely upon its kindness and its power, appeal to it for relief to their wants, and address the president as their great father. They and their country are considered by foreign nations as well as by ourselves as being so completely under the sovereignty and dominion of the United States that any attempt to acquire their land or to form a political connection with them will be considered by all as an invasion of our territory and an act of hostility. I yield the floor.
Islam, Mark. You got anything to close out, Brother Yusuf? After the SPLC?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Islam, right? Islam. Now this comes from this is dated the 22nd day of December 2011. Right? It's coming from the office of the mayor from the city of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel. It states, it's the proclamation. It states, whereas the Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, Amorites, and Canaanites who were permitted by the old pharaohs of Kemet to traverse from East Africa and later form themselves kingdoms extending from northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa, the Atlantic islands, unto the present-day continental Americas. And whereas, listen carefully, and whereas the indigenous Moorish peoples of the Americas, okay, I'm going to say that part again. Whereas the indigenous Moorish peoples of the Americas are now united in order to again link themselves with the family of nations. And whereas the Moorish Americans, being aboriginal to the territories of North, Central, and South Americas, have formed a sovereign theocratic government guided by commanded principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, through virtue of universal right, self-determination, as well as with the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, guaranteed in the Charter. Now, I don't have to continue on, but I could. But nowhere in here is it going to mention about no Indians being Aboriginal Indigenous to the Americas. The mayor of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, in 2011, saying that the Moors are the indigenous peoples to the Americas.
Obviously,
now, there's plenty of other proclamations too. You know, but just to back the fact that they make it seem like the Moors just make this thing up or talking about Moors need to go back to Morocco. Well, debate Rahm Emanuel and the other 10 plus proclamations mayors have put out about us being Aboriginal Indigenous to the land. Don't debate us. Ask them why they keep putting out these proclamations about us being Aboriginal Indigenous to the land, or about celebrating Local Ali Day and stuff like that. Debate them. Don't debate Moors. Don't debate. Like, that's crazy that they keep thinking like, oh, that's something we just made up. Nope. Rahm Emanuel put it out 2011. Signed. Blue ink. Make it seem like Morris just made this thing up, and it doesn't say anything about no Indians or no Native Americans or anything like that. It says the Moors, being the Aboriginal, indigenous, Aboriginal to the Americas. That's like where it didn't say nothing about no Choctaw.
The Moors said, "Oh, please read the proclamation again."
Hold on.
Moors are funny.
I got you right now. I got you right now.
Moors are the best. Moors are the best. I don't care what anybody says.
Rahm Emanuel, office of the mayor, city of Chicago. It says, whereas the Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, Hamitites, and Canaanites, who were permitted by the old pharaohs of Kemet to traverse from East Africa and later form themselves kingdoms extending from northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa, the Atlantic islands, unto the present-day continental Americas. And whereas the indigenous Moorish peoples of the Americas are now united in order to again link themselves with the family of nations, not family of tribes, family of nations. And whereas the Moorish Americans, being Aboriginal to the territories of North, Central, and South Americas, have formed a sovereign theocratic government guided by commanded principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, through virtue of universal right to self-determination, as well as with the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People guaranteed in the Charter. Yeah, you can read the rest, but again, Rahm Emanuel says that the Moors have formed a sovereign theocratic government commanded by the principles, the 5 principles. Now, why isn't nobody debating Rahm Emanuel about calling Moors a sovereign theocratic government? Why isn't he? You support them sovereign citizens, whatever. Like, why ain't they coming at him, bashing him?
And how come he didn't use SPLC to say the origin of the Moors?
Real talk. Why he didn't go to SPLC if they're so credible?
Oh, and then a more.
And that was
No, I'm just gonna say Moore just said in the chat, the Atlanta Proclamation talks about how Moors are the mothers and fathers of human family.
Good. See that? Because you have to go, because Moore has been putting out these proclamations.
Yep. Yep.
It's just that we just got to go back. Like, wait a minute. Like Jeremy said earlier, we just got to rewind sometimes and remember. Hold on. Wait a minute, brother. You got proclamations and everything. Like, it's not like we just make these things up today. Like, people been putting this information out. Manuel used to work for Obama and all of that. First day, as soon as he got into office, that's one of the first things he did was put that out. Why is that? After Obama signed the rights of Indigenous people, his right hand man went to Mecca. We know that's Mecca. And put that proclamation out. His first year at work, he put that out. Mm-hmm. Right after Obama and Michelle did everything they did. Right, some Indigenous people went to Egypt. Right. Did everything. Then he came out and put that out. He didn't tell Robert Manuel didn't come out and put no, we recognize Jackpot or the Cherokee tribe or no first council or no first people. He came back and he said, the Moorish people, how you want me to say it? The pharaohs and everything, you put that part in there too, put it all in there. Yeah, okay, put it all in there. Put it all in there. Told you twice. They're the indigenous people, next paragraph, and the Aboriginal people. What else you want? How else you want me to tell them? How else you clear?
And not only that, though, Yusuf, right? Since all these Indians want to talk about Constitution, and well, guess what? Article 4 says full faith and credit to all public records, acts, and judicial proceedings. Now, he couldn't put that on the record if it wasn't thoroughly checked. That's why when they try to put the 14th Amendment on the record, everybody shot it down.
Yep.
Because it was. Yeah, go ahead. No, I was just saying because it was a known fact that Africans or their descendants could not and shall never be citizens. Because this union was for the people who wanted to get out of the British colony that was set up from the treaty signed by the Moors. And then when they want to expatriate from their mother country, that's why nobody want to tell you where they're really from. They're going to tell you I'm white and I'm from America. No, that's not true. You think I'm playing? If you watch the movie Widows, it's a part where the lady orders a shot of vodka, and he says, "Are you Russian?" She says, "No, I'm Polish. I mean American." "No, you're Polish. You're not American." Mm-hmm. Everybody wanted to cut ties from the mother nation. And even to cut ties from your mother nation, you had to get that quota or that cover from the Moors. Yep.
You had brought up the 14th Amendment earlier, and I almost forgot too. The so-called Indians, Native Americans, whatever, they 14th Amendment citizens under the Snyder's Act. SNYDER. The Snyder's Act. They became 14th Amendment citizens. So even when you call yourself that, but those are brand names. Native American, Indian, those are brand names. Columbus did that. And then Native American became later popularized. So they control those brands. and they put those under 14th Amendment citizens according to the Snyder's Act that was signed in 1924. So now they're 14th Amendment citizens.
Because ain't nobody.
Same thing. That's the same thing as black. You're citizens under the Commerce Act. That's what makes you chattel.
And then I'm just showing up that the Snyder's Act turned into the Indian Citizenship Act. So as soon as you say that you're Indians, those are the ones that are subject. Indians are the real subjects.
Yep.
They're really trading with the enemy.
Trading with the enemy, sleeping with the enemy, winking with the enemy. They're everything with the enemy. Everything with the enemy.
That's what I'm trying to tell them, like, yo, the more they study, they're going to research everything. What do you mean you guys are subject? Like, really? You guys are citizens? United States citizens? 14th Amendment citizens? Really subject? And then go ahead and say more is a subject. There goes the Snyder's Act right there. You read the treaty that I made up, that I wrote, and in it says that I put myself as a subject. I don't even know how I would write that in the treaty that I made up. That doesn't make any sense. But there's your Snyder's Act right there, which a Snyder is a European. Snyder's not so-called Chief Featherfoot, whatever. He's a European. Snyder's a European. Under him, the act that he passed, y'all became 14th Amendment citizens.
Yeah, he was a chief too. Chief Snyder. Yeah, and they officers, because our more, none of our treaties use the word chief. That's another thing for the record. So don't believe the BS saying, well, that's kind of like a chief, and that's like an officer. No, let's say what it's really like. Because we just told you what it's really like. Y'all have chiefs, and I know because I went at the chief of police where I domicile, and under him were officers.
These
They wasn't
goddamn sellouts. Damn sellouts. That's all they are.
Yeah.
That's all they are.
Right there.
Sellouts. All they freaking
Snyder's Act. Says it right in it. Those you can see.
Snyder's Act.
There's citizens of the corporate entity, subjects, and then over here talking about more than how? Snyder's Act. Oh, you're Snyder's guys.
Well, wait. Remember when you told him this Morocco, and he said, "Nah, this is Indian land." Well, since you Black Law Dictionary, man. Well, before we close out, let me just go ahead and read what Indian land is. If this is Indian land over here, right? This not Morocco. This is Indian land. That's what he said. All right. Indian lands. Real property ceded to the U.S. by Indians. And
that's a sellout.
Yeah, because what does seed mean? To yield or formally surrender to another, relinquish, abandon, grant, transfer, convey. But it's only one more who always talk about the false and the fraudulent conveyance of land. That's postulate bait. You ain't talking about no Indians, though, because you know the Indians eat it. Y'all the reason why we fighting for our land.
Yep.
Because y'all feeded something that you can't buy, sell, or transfer. Now, how is that? It's not Indian lands because Indian lands is real property ceded to the U.S. We know the U.S. is a corporation with a fiction, and before the U.S. came about, you had to come to us. So how is this Indian land? And it's not Morocco. That means y'all gave Morocco away. Let's break it down. Y'all motherfuckers gave the everything. I get it.
There's a lot more. Peace and love to you too, Brother Yusuf. Give thanks for the slap down tonight. Oh, somebody asked this question. Yes, let me just ask you guys this one. Awashita Moore claimed his status as indigenous to the land many years. He is currently being detained for exercising his right to travel. How can I help him?
You can't.
Good answer.
He gotta help himself.
Good answer.
Once he helps himself, you can come to his aid and like whatever, just be there. But if he not in there giving them hell about how Aboriginal Indigenous he is and Washita more, then you can't do nothing. You can't do, for lack of a better word, a goddamn thing. If I get detained or whatever, kidnapped, nobody speaking for my matters but me. Because if somebody else speaks on my matters, if we talking law, I'm deemed incompetent off the bat. So if he not writing everybody from inside, causing hell to the point where they like, get this Aboriginal individual out of here. You can't do nothing. And it's sad to say that that's what we had as a people that, and it's not like we can't help each other. I mean, put that out there for the record. But getting help has got us nowhere when we was the people, like, if you find me anything dealing with Moorish history or the setup of the great empire where somebody helped us be the greatest seafarers and all that, the most fierce warriors, you think we needed help to be fierce and take heads behind the birthright and all that? We didn't need no help.
It was so real tonight because they actually got to go through some books and people got to hear from people other than the so-called heads of whatever who people think are somebody. They're nobody. This is people's birthright. And be thankful that you have people to stand up for you when these punks start playing around with your stuff and trying to make you be in a dead status on the plastic with them. As soon as you see the plastic laid out, you should already know to go where there's no plastic. You want to play around, doesn't matter what you call yourself. Okay, you stay on the plastic, see what happens to you. Islam to all the Moors. Peace to the chat Moors and the Muftis in the chat. All the Moors worldwide. We give thanks to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali for doing what he did to save the nations. And honors to the Moors who took that and saved themselves. Peace and love to all Moors. Do you have any closing out, Moors, before we go? Sorry, Moor, you're breaking up. Go again, you're breaking up.
Oh, give thanks for the platform, Grand Sheik. Give thanks to the Noble Drew Ali, our prophet. Of course, give huge thanks for him, and give thanks for the chat Muftis and all the Moors worldwide. Islam.
Islam. Same here, man. All honest to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, not for one reason and one reason only, is because he told us what nobody else told us. Islam to Grand Sheik, Islam to Brother Yusuf, Islam to the Moors in the chat, Islam to every Moor who opened books, Islam to any Moor who would die over their birthright, because that's how serious it is.
Islam. Peace and love, Moors, and to all Islam.